We were approached by Homer Taylor one day, probably well over a year ago, and he was bidding on the concessions here at GSP with the whole wingspan improvement program. And I think Homer's idea was to take local breweries and put one each in each terminal. I think anytime you can take a local brewery and make it one of the featured items or locations in a place like an airport, that's significant. Now, it used to be years ago where you'd go to a stadium and all you'd see were the giant domestic beers that are served in the country. Nowadays, you're seeing more and more a local theme. And you've got people coming to GSP, they come right here, they see RJ Rockers, Spartanburg, South Carolina, they know it's local, so they get a chance to try what the local beers are like here in the upstate.
It's always been good for somebody to have something like this here at the airport to where you can have a beer or a cold beverage before you head out. And the introduction of this flight room here, I mean, it makes it perfect to be able to come here and enjoy one before you hit the road, or coming back in after a long day of traveling, or after 1 or 2 weeks of traveling, you get here and you can have a beer and enjoy yourself and relax.
First and foremost, we want to showcase the beers that we make to people traveling through Greenville-Spartanburg International. And because we have a restaurant with a brewery theme, it's natural to tie in the beers with some of the recipes. So the chef did a really nice job, I think particularly with Son of a Peach, our flagship beer, incorporating that into some of the dressings and some of the sauces that are used in the food. Everybody's favorite feature, even before they saw it, when they just heard the concept about it, was the clock. I mean, the clock is hard to beat. That thing's awesome. I want one. Everybody that I work with wants one. I'm approached, by people on the street or by people at church saying, "Hey, congratulations on opening your new restaurant," and that's great. We started out as a brew pub, a brewery with a restaurant in it. We became a production brewery, and now it's almost like we've come full circle to where we've got a production brewery and we have a restaurant that just happens to be in an airport. When I first walked in here, it's just the wow factor. It's one thing to hear about the concept of it. It's another thing to see a picture of a clock and then a schematic or a drawing of the layout of the bar. But when you actually come in, you see your tap handles and you see staff walking around in RJ Rockers t-shirts that we don't even have at the brewery. That's very cool.